Because you were in Texas.
Yep, I was in Texas.
So it was pre-April. What?
Together with April.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was, again, beginning to broaden my horizons and not fear to think about things that I had always heard about, but never spent the time myself learning. And so mushrooms became one of those. I had a good friend back in Texas that ultimately helped me become more informed and understanding of what they are. Besides the fact that I love, I loved spending time building and growing a garden back in Texas and various other things. Love to eat mushroom. Anyway, I decided to take a pretty large dose. And so I kind of prepared because I was doing it very intentional, right? That's the direction I typically come from, something that I'm interested in. I was intentional about it. I learned about it. And then 3 days prior, I kind of changed up my diet a little bit to just lighten it up and prepare for it. And I remember walking down behind my house. I went back across the back end of my property down a road to the lake, and I would go stand there barefooted and gaze at the sun at the end of the days, And I'd picked the time to do my first one on a full moon. Had all that ready before I went down there, walked back, and I was out on the back of my property there and set up my chair and had some water and kind of knew what was coming. And so I went back in the house and I basically ground it up and drank it as a tea. I drank it, and it takes, somewhere between 20 to 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But so I went outside and I sat down a little bit before dark and just was relaxed. And then I started feeling it coming on, right? Almost like the anticipation of going up a really tall roller coaster. And then boom, it really started kicking in. They taught me that if you started feeling a little bit sick in the stomach, just start breathing. And so I'd breathe, and a couple of times of breathing, it would go away. And I got to where everything, and again, it's real difficult to describe the experience. But I had spent time, for 3 days straight, I was listening to Alan Watts and, eating lighter and things like that. And so I didn't come in with full intentions, or specific intentions, I should say. I came in wanting to experience whatever the experience wanted to give me. That was the objective.
Mm-hmm.
And so next thing I know, my experience with my eyes open and my eyes closed were two very different things.
Yeah.
I started noticing with my eyes open, the big pine trees in the backyard where you would normally see the detail of the individual needles and things like that. The needles just looked soft and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And I could tell everything was kind of vibrating. And it wasn't a windy day.
No.
But, the trees were kind of doing like this, and they were just soft and inviting
Beautiful.
and welcoming and beautiful.
Yes.
And I got to this moment, and I would look at them, and I'd look at bushes, and I'd look at the ground. The moon wasn't quite up yet, but I could see it starting to come up through the trees. And I got at this moment where I was looking at the trees, and this understanding that they knew that I now knew that they knew.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And for a split second, because I'd cut some of those down, and it's fine. But for a split second, I'm like, damn, I'm sorry I cut you down.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just a different level of appreciation for what I was seeing. And it's almost like I felt their consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a different level.
Yeah.
But I'd say to some degree or another, everything that there is has some level of energy, frequency, vibration, perhaps even a consciousness, depending on the discussion. But it was the trees were beautiful, and the wind wasn't blowing, but they were swaying. So there was that. And then I noticed as I'm looking at the trees and I close my eyes, everything was still there, but everything was geometric shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I could look at that tree, see it like I just described it, then close my eyes, and that same tree was all kinds of geometric shapes doing the same thing. I'm feeling the same thing, but I'm seeing the geometry of it, which was also amazing.
Sacred geometry.
And so throughout the night, I'm going back and forth with that. I'd see something, I'd experience it, and then I'd think to myself, I want to see what that looks like with my eyes closed. I close my eyes and it would be the same thing.
Oh, so
The geometric
beautiful.
shape of it all. And so as the night went on, sun's continually rising and I can see it behind the trees.
No, the moon.
Sorry, the moon. I'm a little excited. And I could see it coming and it was super bright.
Yeah.
Right? Brighter. And I'd seen it before, but in that moment it was brighter. Of course I'd seen it.
I mean, we know that.
I've been around a while. So I'm sitting there and I'm up and down from the chair, right? I'm barefooted on the ground or I'm sitting in my chair, one of those little camp chairs with a table next to it. And we had some outside cats, great little mouse and rat getters. Sometimes leave us gifts on the back porch, their heads or whatever. Side note, I had a mother cat and 2 of her kittens that were grown. The mother cat comes up on that table on my chair, jumps up, and I'm sitting there. She jumps up, looks up at me, puts both of her paws right here, and just stares into my face like this. And I'm looking over at her.
Aw.
And she's looking at me and she takes her little nose a few times
So sweet.
and does this. Like, and it almost felt like I got you.
Yeah.
I'm here for you.
Yeah.
That's
you're okay.
So, and again, like with the trees, she knew that I knew
that you both knew.
that she knew that I now knew,
Yeah.
so to speak. So it was awesome. And so she would do that periodically throughout the
Yeah.
night. Or if I was standing up, she'd do figure 8s between my legs.
Yeah.
Or she would just sit on the table and look out with me. Or she'd sit next to me on the ground and the others would come around a little bit too. I almost got the sense that it was almost a protection, right?
Yeah.
She was a little black cat.
That's how Diesel was with me.
Yeah.
On my trip, he was protecting me, and he knew that I knew. Like, he was giving me weird sideways looks that he doesn't do in real life.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was doing them.
Right.
And following me closely everywhere.
Yeah. So that went on for a while. And then the moon came up over the top of the trees. And I went to look at it, and it was almost like trying to look at a noonday sun. And I saw
Sure.
the energy coming off the moon in waves, in
Yeah.
white waves, like 3 different rows of energy coming off the moon in white waves. And I was dumbfounded by it.
That was good. We did good. Yes. Hello.